can find him at KP_Omaha on Twitter. He's Kyle Peterson from ESPN joining the CJ Silas Show. Recently, you talked about on Twitter, I think it was maybe even just yesterday, the days just blend in together, about how hard it is to hit a 100-mile-per-hour pitch. Talk a little bit about that.
I didn't have to do it very often because I wasn't a very good hitter, and so my job was to try to get guys out. Now, I can't tell you what it feels like to throw 100 because I never did that either, but I did. Faced a few guys that were up there. Faced Randy Johnson in spring training one time. Faced Octavio Dotel when he really had it going, and this is 20 years ago. But it's one of the hardest things to try to do in sports. And I think my point in that listen, there's more strikeouts now, obviously, and the offensive approach for most teams is different than it was 20 years ago. Listen, our approach on most things in the world is a little bit different now than it was 20 years ago. People evolve, the game evolves, and part of that evolution has been some more swing and miss. I just think what gets lost in that sometimes is how much better the pitching has gotten from just a pure velocity standpoint. It's harder to hit. There's this outcry among those, choke up, put the ball in play. I get it. There's a happy medium in this somewhere. I just hope there's a realization that hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, especially with a guy that may come back and, like Buehler last night, throwing a 100-mile-an-hour, 99-mile-an-hour fastball and 93-mile-an-hour cutters. There's 20 people on the planet that can do that. We happened to be watching one of them last night wearing the Dodger colors, and it's really, really hard. And I don't like sticking up for hitters very often because my job was to try to get them out a while ago. But in that case, I get it because it's not easy with what those guys have to deal with 60 feet away now.
Zach Davies, Clayton Kershaw tonight, Game 2 of the division series on ESPN. Kershaw's got this postseason reputation, which I think his game against Milwaukee kind of helped him a week or so ago. He's got the upper hand against Davies. But when he gets on the mound in the postseason, how confident and optimistic are you about Kershaw's performance?
I'm actually very confident. I'd be surprised if he doesn't throw very well tonight. I think the difference between last week and this week, or the Milwaukee start and tonight, is he's facing an elite offense tonight. And Milwaukee just isn't an elite offense. San Diego, by whatever metric you want to look at it, is a top 3 or 4 offense in Major League Baseball. So, the guys he's facing on the other side are different significantly and can do more damage than he was facing a week ago. But that being said, just looking at Kershaw in the year that he's had, the velocity's up a little bit, which is rare for somebody his age. His ability to throw strike one has been pretty elite this year. And it's a mixture of primarily fastball slider on the first pitch. But he's gotten ahead more than any other starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. And then it allows Kershaw to do what he does best, which is expand the zone. But he's facing a team that doesn't chase a lot. It's a really interesting matchup. And I know, the popular narrative is to go back to Kershaw's struggle in the postseason. He's still one of the best left-handers to ever live. And he still has very, very good swing and miss stuff. He struck out 13 guys a week ago. So I think it's a really cool matchup. It's Kershaw, who looks different to me than he did over the past few years. I think the stuff has ticked up a little bit against a young offense that's one of the most exciting that we have in the game.
It's been hard not to be a homer because I am a Dodger fan, and sheesh, come on, 1988. I can't stand it. I don't care if it's only a 60-game season. I'll take it. One injury that did seem to affect the Dodgers coming into this series, Edwin Rios was left off the roster because of what's going on with his groin. It made me a little nervous yesterday when I saw that because I'm not sure who's going to back up Justin Turner at third base. Obviously, you've got Max Muncy. Then you'd have to bring Bellinger in from the outfield. We're all crossing our fingers that Justin Turner doesn't get hurt. But if he does, what happens at third base?
Well, they still have some flexibility. It feels like Kike can play wherever you want him to. Taylor can too. And so it gives you flexibility in the infield if you get to that point, if you got to push Muncy over to second even if he needed to. The Dodgers have more, for me, and it's not just from a position player standpoint, but it's up and down the pitching staff. Dave Roberts has more flexibility to make whatever choices that he wants to over the course of it. So if that were to happen, I think that they have options, and really they have more suitable options than most others would.